Welcome to the Automation Pitfall series once again. Uh, Today we are going to talk about flaky test, uh, something which is dreaded, but it is true. I mean, all of us face this, no matter what, wherever we are. And this is just trying to summarize our experience on what we have seen typically failing and where it fails and what we can do differently to ensure that we have, I mean, as less of flaky tests as possible. Can we get it to zero? Maybe not, but then we can very well address it to a large extent, right? So what I'll do is we'll quickly talk about the kind of common problems which we see on where test gets flaky and how and when. Uh, the most common thing which we see across is hard coded weights, and trust me, I've seen it in almost every other project where I've been and I've worked with people. I've seen people having this habit of introducing hard coded weights, which leads to flakiness. I mean, at times your application does not behave the way you were expecting it to, and then maybe did not come or did come, and then something happened, and your thread strips are failing all over the place. Something which is very common. The other thing which I've seen also happening a lot, and you'd relate to this, is having an unstable environment. So what is working in QA is not working in sort of a different staging environment. What is working staging is not working in UAT, and likewise. Where Why is this happening? So at times, reasons could vary from some services working in a certain environment and the same not working in the other environment. The deployments are not correct. Some servers are down, some services are down. So all those things are sort of adding to this. Uh, so having the right stable environments is important. The next thing which we have seen quite often happening is dependency on the kind of test data. uh, so did you actually have the right test data to run the same test across environments again and with the right kind of setup, right? Somebody just ran something and the database state got screwed up, and then all your tests are going for a toss. Happens quite often. The next thing, of course, from an automation perspective, if you're doing it at UI layer, is that if you're having a lot of I would say fragile kind of element locators, XPath being very common, you are bound to face this. So this also introduces a lot of flakiness if your selectors are not right. Um, what could be next? The other thing which I've seen facing people a lot is when they're trying to integrate to external dependencies. So think of integrations which are third party, let's say payment gateways or something. Something is down and you have a test which is trying to integrate to a third party payment gateway, and then they're not responding. Your tests are bound to fail. You can't really do much there. Uh, so in summary, what we spoke about was, one is hard coded weights, the other is environments being unstable, dependencies on data, UI elements being fragile, or rather the selectors being fragile, and then all these external integrations. So now that we have spoken about problems, let's also talk about some of the common solutions which I've seen working and from experience. The most common is, of course, let's not have hard coded weights anywhere. So you have got to have dynamic weights, conditional weights, however you refer to them, but then make sure that if it is UI test, you never have hard coded weights, never ever. The other is, I mean, talking about environments, right? As long as you are able to isolate the environments, if the services are deployed for the environments correctly, or maybe at times if you have doubt on the service deployment, see if it makes sense, and for a lot of stable services, so to say, even for third party integrations, see if you can have mocks. So you could actually mock a service response and focus on what you're testing at hand, functionality of that particular piece, than trying to break your head on some third party service or some service which typically behaves right but maybe is not for whatever reason available in that specific environment. So try to use either a mock or some way of service virtualization wherever it is possible. uh, the other is a test data management. A very good practice to do is that whenever you are going to start your test, the first thing you have to do is, or before running any test suite, is that you look at all your test data. So you go figure out where it is, what is happening, you set the data right, and then you run the test. uh, right resident locators, and last but not the least, I mean, have a good parallel execution strategy. I mean, it goes a long way in having a lot of stable tests. uh, Thank you.